Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. This is lecture 6 in your writing course 103. The focus is write a message to a friend. So in this lecture we are going to learn things that will help us write a message to a friend, write a letter to a friend. The lecture components for today, we have some vocabulary, days of the week, free time activities, time expressions, feelings and moods. All of these things will be discussed today. Under the grammar component, we have simple past tense with regular verbs. Simple past tense with regular verbs. And we have a simple past tense with the verb be and the verb have. It's a very easy lesson that you will understand. And we have the writing component. Here we will write a letter about last weekend. The days of the week. I hope every one of you knows these days of the week. Of course, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Okay? Now, let's start with this exercise about Francisco's schedule, what he usually does. What is Francisco doing at these times? Number one, it's 3:15 on Monday. 3:15 on Monday, he is studying with his math group. Okay? So, number two, it's 7 o'clock on Thursday evening. He is practicing the guitar with Maria. Number three, it's 6:30 on Friday morning. He's working out, practicing sports, working out. Okay? Number four, it's 8:45 on Saturday morning. He is playing basketball. Now, he is playing basketball. Okay? It's 10:45 on Sunday morning. He is cleaning his room. You see, all these are activities like playing basketball, cleaning his room, playing the guitar, working out. All of these are activities, as we mentioned in the first slide. It's 7 o'clock on Wednesday evening. He is calling Grandma in San Diego. He's calling. Now, let's talk about the time expressions. Time expressions tell us about the time, when something happens or how long it lasts. For example, when, in the morning, in the afternoon, in the evening. These are time expressions that tell us when something happens. So you can say, he came in the afternoon. He plays basketball in the evening. He has breakfast in the morning. We say also on, not in, on Saturday, on January 3rd. We say at 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock, at. Not in, not on, at. At noon, at night, and at midnight. Here we are talking about time, a specific time. Okay? Now, how long? For example, we say for 2 hours. How long? For 2 hours. For 5 days. For 10 minutes. For. And we also say from 2. From 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock. From Saturday to Monday. We will do now an exercise on the time expressions. Look at the question. How long how long. You are asking about a duration. How long does Francisco play basketball on Saturday? Use for in the answer. He plays basketball for 2 hours. How long? For 2 hours. What time does Francisco call Grandma? He calls Grandma, he calls her at 7 p.m. What time? At 7 p.m. on Wednesday evening. On Wednesday evening. What day does Francisco clean his room? He cleans his room on Sunday. Number 4, when does Francisco work out? When does he work out? He works out in the morning. In the morning. 5, how long does Francisco practice the guitar on Tuesday and Thursday? From 2. He practices the guitar from 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. from 2. Okay? Now, the following component here is about adjectives. We have exercise D on page 83, and we talked about adjectives in previous lectures, so this is not the first time. Now, you will have sentences, and these sentences are not true. I want you to rewrite them using the correct adjective. Look at number 1. Francisco is sad in Los Angeles. What's the opposite of sad? Right, it's happy. Francisco is happy in Los Angeles. Sad, happy. Francisco was wide awake on Saturday morning. Wide awake. What's the opposite of this? He was very sleepy on Saturday morning. You see, very sleepy. Adverb, adjective. You remember this. Maria didn't play basketball because she was healthy. No, she wasn't healthy. She was sick. So we have here some adjectives and their opposites. Number 4, Francisco was full at noon. When you eat, you become full. No, he was really hungry at noon. Francisco was busy after lunch. What's the opposite of busy? Almost. He was bored after lunch. He didn't have anything to do. Francisco was full of energy on Sunday evening. Francisco was tired on Sunday evening. The opposite is tired. Okay. Now, the past tense with regular verbs, for example, walk, walked. Okay. Play, played. I play tennis every day. I played tennis yesterday. Okay. Example, Francisco plays basketball every Saturday. Simple present. You remember the simple present from another lecture. Okay. Francisco played basketball last Saturday. Played, you see, played, simple past. Maria and Francisco study every Sunday afternoon. Simple present. So, they studied last Sunday afternoon. Studied last Sunday afternoon. The Garcia family shop once a week. They go shopping once a week. In the past, they shopped last week, shopped. Number 4, I visit my grandfather every month. Visit, simple present. I visited my grandfather a month ago. Last month, in the past. Okay? Look at these other examples. We have some other examples. Francisco helped Maria. Helped. Now, how do you negate? How do you use the past tense in the negative? Francisco helped Maria. But Maria did not help her mother. Okay? I lived in Jeddah last year. Lived. I didn't live in Riyadh last year. They studied on Sunday afternoon. Studied. So the negative is did not study. They did not study, not studied on Saturday afternoon. The Garcia family shopped for food. What did they do? They shopped for food. But they did not shop for clothes. They did not shop for clothes. So here you can see how to change the past tense from the affirmative to the negative. It's very easy. Helped, did not help. Lived, did not live, etc. Let's do an exercise on this. We have Maria, basketball on Saturday morning. Didn't play. Use the negative. Didn't play. Number 2, Francisco's friend Rick. What the verb call? How do you negate call? Didn't call him on Saturday afternoon. Didn't call. Francisco and Rick, the verb is walk. Didn't walk to the mall in the morning. Didn't walk. Number 4, Francisco and Maria, or Maria and Francisco, did not watch TV. Didn't watch TV on Saturday night. So you can see how we negate. Okay? Another sentence. On Sunday, Maria and Francisco did not or didn't stay home all day. On Sunday morning, Francisco didn't clean his rooms for 3 hours. Okay? On Sunday, Francisco didn't work out, and Maria didn't practice the guitar. On Sunday evening, Francisco didn't relax. This is the negative. This exercise is about negating the simple past. Now, here we have some examples about the simple past with the verb be. The verb be, like is. The past of is was. He is a teacher. He was a teacher. I was at the game. Look at the examples. I was at the game in the past. I was at the game yesterday. I wasn't. I was not. It's very easy to negate was not, or wasn't. You were hungry before lunch. You weren't. You were not. Francisco was tired. Was tired. Francisco was not tired. We were on a bus we were on a bus yesterday. We were not on a bus. You were my classmates. You were not. They were not. So you can see how easy it is to negate was and were. Was not or wasn't. Were were not or weren't. Another verb, the verb have also. It's also easy to negate the verb have. In the past, Francisco had a basketball game on Saturday morning. How do you negate had? Didn't have. Had, didn't have. Like played, didn't play. Okay? Walked, didn't walk. It's the same thing. Francisco and his family had plans on Saturday. Didn't have plans. I had breakfast at 7 a.m. this morning. No, I didn't have. The negative, had, didn't have. So again, you can see how easy it is. Now the writing component in this lecture is about the parts of a letter, because you are going to write a letter. Try and write a letter. How many parts there are there in a letter? There are usually 5 parts. Part 1, the heading. 2, the greeting. 3, the body of the letter. And the closing. And finally, the signature. These are the 5 parts, as you can see them here. We have this letter. Can you see the heading? The heading, here we have the date, March 7, 2010. And the greeting is Dear Pedro, Dear Ahmed, etc. Comma, Dear Pedro, comma. Okay? The body of the letter, okay, what you are saying in the letter is the body of the letter. You can see all or most of the letter here is the body of the letter. My computer isn't working, so I am writing you a letter, etc., etc. This is the body of the letter. Now, under the body of the letter, we have the closing, like your cousin, yours, or your cousin. And we have the signature. You sign your name, or you write your name. Francisco, the writer of the letter. Okay, so remember these parts of the letter and look at this question or exercise. We have 5 parts. I want you to try and label the parts, number them. Which one is the first part? We usually start with the heading, which is the date. Okay? Do you remember the second part? It's the greeting. Sorry. We have Dear Abdullah is the greeting. And after the greeting, what comes after the greeting? Remember from the previous slide, we have the body of the letter. And following that is the closing, and finally the signature or the name of the writer of the letter. So, I want you to try and write a letter to a friend. First, tell the person how you are. For example, I'm fine, I'm okay, school is good, work is good, everything is good. Then, write about what you did last weekend. About what you did. You want to use the simple past. For example, I played with friends. I worked all weekend. I visited some relatives. I went to Riyadh. I wrote a letter to a friend. Remember to use time expressions to sequence the events. We will talk about this, like first, then, after that. Finally, ask questions at the end of the letter. Look at the example. we have the greeting, for example, dear Salman, the body, how I am, you say I am busy, I am good, school is good, I have classes from 7 to 8 to 9. What did you do last weekend? On Thursday I played, I worked, weekend. We are talking about Thursday and Friday, the weekend. What questions do you have? How are you? How is school? Etc. And the closing, of course, your friend, your cousin, and so on. Okay? Now, look at the question here. We have two sentences. Then in the afternoon I played football. Can you see the word then? Then in the afternoon I played football. This sentence cannot be the first sentence. My friend Ahmed played football too. Now we want to join the sentences together. Is it like this? Or like this? Or this one? Then in the afternoon my friend and Ahmed played football. My friend is Ahmed, the same person. This is the correct answer. Then in the afternoon, my friend Ahmed and I played football. Joining sentences together. Now, I will give you some sentences. Here, number 1, and number 2, and number 3, and number 4. We have 4 sentences. We want to order them. How do you start? You start with the general. Okay? Look at the sentences. Which one is most general? The most general sentence. Okay? Look at these. Try to choose one of them. What is the correct order of the sentences? Okay? It's D. We start with number 3. Things here in the Dammam are fine. You see, we are talking about Dammam, general. And then number 1, I have classes. Then number 2, my classes are interesting. And finally, I like my teachers too. From general to specific. Now, we have a paragraph, and one of the sentences is irrelevant. You are familiar with this. Which one is irrelevant? Is it 1, 2, 3, or 4? How are you? How was your weekend? Did you have fun? I am fine. Please write soon. Which sentence does not fit here? You notice sentence 1, and 2, and 3, and 5, okay, are different from number 1 and number 4. Number 4, I am fine. I'm talking about myself. This is not the case in the other sentences. In sentence 1, I'm asking you. In sentence 2, I'm asking you. And in sentence 3, I am asking you. Also in number 5, I am asking you to write soon. So the sentence is number 4. It is not in this paragraph, should not be here. Now, look at this sentence. Then I had a big breakfast. I was sleepy. Sleepy cannot be in this sentence. I had a big breakfast. Why did you have a big breakfast? Because you were sleepy? No. Because you were fine, bored, tired, or hungry. You eat a lot when you are hungry, of course. So you cannot say sleepy. Now choose the best substitute for the underlined words. I did my homework 2-3 hours on Sunday. Do we say 2-3 hours? Or from, at, for, or make no change, the same. We studied this today in this lecture. We say for 3 hours. For 3 hours. Another question. My sister practices the guitar in Monday afternoons. Do we say in Monday, on, or at, or to, or do we say in Monday? What do you say? Monday afternoons, it's on, as we studied today. We watches movies last weekend in the past. Okay? So what do you say? We are watching, we watched, watch, or make no change. In the past we use the past, watched for the past. So this is all for today's lecture. Thank you very much and see you next time, inshallah.